Hello and welcome
Hello.
to the Vibe Union podcast. We are not in our usual. If you're watching this, we're not in the usual radio bar. We're in my and Rhath's place, which is also on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we would like to acknowledge that we are extremely privileged to be here and to call this place home. And we're really lucky to be able to, host things and host people, host friends. And today we have the beautiful Cari Scharl.
Thank you.
How are you, Cari?
Pretty good, yeah.
That's good. A big day of work at the architecture firm.
Corporate architecture firm. I did very hard things.
Oh.
I did photoshopping.
Photoshopping, no.
That's great. I love it.
Is it, we're just going to get straight into it because that just made me think, is it like nice to have a job that's creative in a different way to music?
I definitely, yes. Yeah, short answer, yes. It's very, for me, it's just a different facet of the same diamond, the same thing I'm trying to get a grasp on, you know?
Yeah. How long have you been doing it for?
Well, I've started my degree in 2021, so about 4 years. Nice. The bachelor's degree has been lengthened a bit, but that's
no.
Oh no, it's just me. But
right. You've been doing a lot of other stuff.
Yes,
recently.
I've been doing a lot of music as well.
Yeah. I wanted to ask how the New York trip went because that looked amazing.
Yeah, that was really good. So yeah, at the start of the year, I went to New York to play in a festival called New Colossus, and it's like a small indie festival for very shoegazy indie pop bands. So we went all through the Lower East Side, New York, Soho district. At the time of my life, it was
so cool.
Amazing. I met like a lot of really interesting musicians, but it also it reminded me a lot of here as well. I think it's just it was like the time of my life, obviously, but it makes you appreciate all the different nuances of our scene as well.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of interesting things
sense
going
of like
on.
Community here in Melbourne.
Yeah, well,
because it was an Australian band that you went over with as well.
Yeah,
right?
it was. So it was one of my friends' bands, which I went and played with. Yeah.
And how did you get? How did they get that gig to get overseas? It's
funny story actually. They got contacted over email and they were like, "Wait, is this spam?" But yeah, they realized it was not spam after everything. But yeah,
that's so cool. Wow.
One of the many bands.
That's amazing. And how long were you over there for?
So I was over there for 3 weeks. So I had 1 week of the festival and we played about 3 shows in the end.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was great.
Were there other Aussie bands on the...
Yeah, you know what? There was one other Aussie band and then there was a New Zealand band as well.
Cool.
So people from this side of the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice to hear some familiar faces. There were also just a lot of people that were like, "You're from Australia? That's crazy."
That would have been so fun.
It really was. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
But so I had the festival for the first week. And that's where I played with my band. But then for the next 2 weeks, I was doing like a lot of open mics.
Nice.
Got to meet a lot of the local scene as well. I was traveling around. We had a few friends who were quite linked into the New York scene. So I went around with them and got to have quite a nice glimpse at the New York scene, which was really meaningful to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's got a very romantic vibe to it.
Yeah.
From the outside, but...
Absolutely. Well, I was surprised. It stinks. But I feel like I loved that. It was kind of
amazing.
It was so grotty. Yeah. It's so dirty, but it's like like
grungy kind of way.
Yeah, it was that sort of grunge, and I really appreciated that because it's like a place had a bit of grit, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was kind of like you could feel the depth of it, like the history. Yeah.
So cool. And you've been very busy back here in Melbourne as well.
Yes, I have.
Various, like the first time I saw you play, you were playing solo, and now I've seen you play in your band, but then I know you're also in another band, Sorry Dave, and you've
Yes.
just also told me about a new duo that you've started.
Yeah, and there's a few other bands as well.
Oh my goodness.
No, it's really good. I try to get involved in as much as I can, really. So there is my band or my project. Ooh, should I say band? Oh, I don't know.
You can say band.
I've been sort of playing around with how many band members are in the band. The max I've reached at the moment is about 3 people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's varying. Trying to get some more people behind it.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, that's been varying for the past year and a bit. Then I have my Sorry Dave band as well, which is very shoegazy. Love Sorry Dave. And I met them around August last year. I played a Nighthawks show with them, and they were looking for a synth player at the time, and they snapped me up. They were like, "Can you play synth in our band, please?"
So good.
But that's been a really rewarding experience,
Yeah.
and I've loved getting to know them. And then I've just started a new electronic project as well called Idle Flowers.
Oh yeah, love that name
Yeah,
too. That's so
thank
good.
you. I did appreciate that name. But we are writing more trip hop esque stuff, which I'm really excited to see where it goes. We've just had our first gig, so it's very fresh, very new. But more in the vein of people or artists I'm really into at the moment, like Massive Attack, sort of ASO vibes. If you know
I don't know
them.
ASO,
They're, yeah, local. They're quite good. You should check them out.
Yeah, I will. I love that. Yeah, there's so many amazing local bands happening.
Absolutely.
Like you can really just go out any night and be like, "There's gonna be something good on tonight."
I've literally been out every night this day.
Even in the wintertime, like. Yeah, saw a gig yesterday afternoon, like an Sunday Arvo afternoon
Where'd you
show
go?
at the Toad. And it was packed in like the
playing?
front bar. It was absolutely packed. Girlatones was the band that we saw.
Who was supporting
Which
that?
Winter McQuinn.
Oh, I don't
was
know.
supporting.
There was a tote show over the weekend that I was looking at, and I was
I think there was like a big sort of might have been festival-y. Like maybe Leaps and Bounds were there. I can't remember, but it's so nice. Yeah, having so much happening in Melbourne all the time. But yeah, it's funny. Like I feel like the first couple of weeks of winter, no one wants to come out. Everyone's like, "No, it's too cold. I can't come to the gig." But
people stay coming.
yeah. Do you find that like? Do you try and play more in summer, or you just play whenever?
I just play whenever. I think, it's kind of gotten to the point I'll just do a gig. I don't really think about who will come. It's kind of just more, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's so cool.
But I feel like definitely people were less inclined to come out, which, it makes me excited for summer again. But
it's nice, always like cozy vibes in the Melbourne winter. I feel like you can kind of convince people to be like, come and be my friend and hang out and like don't just hibernate at home. Exactly. I love seeing places have like the rice cooker with the mulled wine.
Oh yeah,
keeping it warm. I'm like, that's so smart. I gotta get into that, I think.
Nice.
I wanted to ask, how you've played in now many different bands and also solo. How do you sort of find, especially with your own project, do you sort of collaborate much with the artists involved with you, or is it more like you've got the vision and it needs to...
In terms of my music? Or I definitely think it's very open to collaboration. I'm still at that point in my writing and I think in just my artistry where I want to collaborate and with as many people as I can. Because I really, it's a sort of the idea of the solo artist being like, I have this idea, I want to execute this vision. I'm really not a fan of. I think architecture has taught me that as well, because we're around so many people and we're taught the power of our peers to give us feedback and to shed insight into our projects that we might not have originally. And it can make things you're doing so much more complex, and especially for the better. if you don't let your ego get in the way of it. So,
Yeah.
which can be hard for some people, but
Yeah.
I know I'm so excited by other musicians, and
Yeah.
it's so. Just to be in that sort of atmosphere, especially with like you're all collaborating and you're all trying to come up with great ideas. It's just electric, really. It's just magical.
So good. It was really magical seeing you guys play at Tones.
Thank you.
It was, you all really worked so well together and complemented each other's.
But that's also to the credit of Naja and Sam. They are such incredible musicians.
Yeah.
I met Naj first at a gig I did at the Bogey Seltzer, which I don't know if you know, but I played just recently one of the last shows in the Bogey Bandbox.
Wait.
They're closing it.
What?
Yeah, they're renovating that space. So I sung backing vocals for one of my friend's bands, Kite Bender.
Yeah, cool.
So I did that Friday night.
Oh man,
And
that's really sad.
yeah.
Like it's a weird space, but it's so like, I don't know. I feel like that's
Well, I did my first headline
iconic
my
in a
only
sense, you
headline
know?
of it. Yeah. But
Yeah.
it's an iconic venue.
Yeah.
But I think it's good because it also means they have the money to renovate and extend.
True. Yeah, I mean, I love, like, we played the band room with my band.
Yeah, you were saying
a little
before,
while ago,
and then you recorded it and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was really nice, like playing in a
part's
venue
staying
that's
open, though.
Yeah. I think because that's all new, and like all the new gear and everything, and like the toilets were all nice. I was like, wow, this is a bit
Bogey
fancy.
toilets are nice.
They are.
Where?
The ones out the back that haven't been like decimated yet.
Ooh.
As in, there's like
beg your pardon. Yeah, I
the
do know
beer
those.
garden,
Yes.
but then there's like the new section of the beer
Yes.
garden.
Now I remember.
and they're just like clean. It's really weird.
Yeah, they are. No, I forgot they had those toilets. I'm like thinking of the other ones.
No, not the beer garden ones. We won't speak of those.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad though. Like, yeah, it's such a cute little spot. And I feel like, it's such a nice kind of space for up and coming artists to be
Yeah,
like, look, you don't have to
absolutely.
fill the whole room. Like there's going to be people just sitting at the bar kind of listening in.
Yeah. And it's been like you can get that place quiet or packed as well.
Yeah, totally.
But that's where I met Naj.
Yeah.
So, and then I met Sam, who also played the Tones gig on bass. I met him at Brunswick Artist Bar, just down the road.
Again, another iconic venue.
Lovely place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I met him with one of his other bandmates, Art, who were in a band called Split Lanes together, who also make, very good music.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we met there, and then we've been collaborating recently. And God, they're just brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. It just makes me really excited.
Yeah.
Because they're both quite passionate about the music, and they're keen, and they have each both such a different perspective on music that they bring. It's really interesting to see what we all create together.
It's so beautiful. Yeah.
We had a practice session actually, and Sam grew up playing the sitar. Wow. Do you know what the sitar is?
Yeah, so good.
So he pulled that out and we were like, what is that? So, but we had a sitar jam and I really enjoyed that.
Are we going to be hearing some sitar in some new releases?
I don't know. It's nice. It's a nice instrument.
It's definitely, it's got, such a mystical kind of vibe to it. I love it. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
How do you find, like, so you meet these people at the gigs, do you kind of just go up and be like, hey, that was fucking great. Do you want to bloody do something together? Or like, what's the process of finding other people to collaborate with?
I've had people come up to me because I've kind of always been quite content doing my solo stuff, but I have wanted to collaborate with other musicians, but I've just, it's just been a case of they've come up to me first because they haven't played in things I've seen yet, but they came up and were just like, hey, loved that. Are you looking for people? That's genuinely what Naj said to me. She was like,
Yeah.
I will play keys for you. Someone else said he would play drums. So that was
Love
really
that.
lovely. But at that point, I hadn't really imagined potentially turning my solo project into a full band situation. Just because it's just reimagining it. It's an intimidating task.
Yeah.
Especially like I'm definitely having like growing pains at the moment. It's a completely different way of imagining your music.
Yeah.
And when you haven't worked that way in the past, which I haven't really other than the bands that I've joined, it's really hard to articulate what you're trying to do.
Yeah, true.
And what you want out of music, you know.
Yeah, I definitely find that like trying to communicate what like because it's just a feeling, you know. Like,
Exactly.
a lot of the time the song is just like I'm just feeling this way, and like this melody completely understands how I feel. So
I'm terrible with that. I go to my drummer. I'm like, no, you need to play it like this. You're playing it like this, and it's just like he's like, oh, can you like give me to that in terms? I was like, no. It's like I speak rhythm.
It's it's just feeling.
It's feeling exactly.
I feel like definitely. I play a lot in like open tuning guitar.
Yeah,
and people
I'm
are like,
fiend for that.
What are you playing there? I'm like,
babes, I'm borrowing the fifth fret.
It's just I don't know what this is. You're gonna have to figure that out.
You have to figure it out afterwards. Yeah, so it's like a lot more melody driven though.
Yeah.
You're the same in that.
Yeah, I think so. I think the melody kind of has to come first, and then everything is built around that, you know.
Oh. Yeah, I'm more of like a melody through chords person. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think most of the time, sometimes I just like I'm driving around though, and I'm like, having a little hum to myself, you know.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, how am I I need to figure this out now. But I feel like that's a hard way to do it. I've only done it a few times. I'm like, why did I do this? This is hard.
What, humming it out?
Yeah. And then trying to find the chords that fit that.
Yeah.
It's tricky, but
yeah, I have to say I have done that a few times. I wrote one song like humming down, I think it was Streets in the City. I can't remember.
Love that.
I was around Carlton.
Do you sort of have places or spaces that you sort of like to go for that bit of inspiration, or is it kind of just at any point it could hit you?
It could kind of hit me anytime, really. Whenever.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll take it.
In like a meeting for the architecture firm.
Yeah, it's like,
can I just
I have an idea. Yeah.
Just gonna pop out for a minute.
Yeah, or you could just have like the weekend I was like on Saturday having a bit of a bender mentally. Just being like, I need to write 5 songs today. Yeah. So that was the thing.
So you have sort of like plan things of like, okay, today I'm gonna write a song, or
when when I have to,
yeah.
But that's another reason gigs are good, because it's like, oh, I'm forced to do something now.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily plan my writing more than I just have a response to something I'm feeling. If I'm particularly feeling something at any point in time, that's usually when I go down and sit with my guitar and be like, yeah. And yep.
Nice. And the time that I saw you solo, like you had the laptop with all your production and stuff on there.
Yeah, Ableton.
Yeah.
Yes.
So good.
I love Ableton.
And is that like, how does that go when you're planning that, like in that way? Do you can you hear what the drums want to be like?
Yeah, I think I always have a good sense or a strong sense of what I want the rhythm to sound like. Even I write some crazy drum beats. I used to, when I first started songwriting, I would get the GarageBand sort of 16-track drum beat machine. And I would just input the wackiest imagined drum beat you could think of.
Amazing.
Yeah. But I think I've still kept that sort of impractical approach to drumming in the sense of I want it to sound like very awkward or just very,
Yeah.
a
Nice.
bit. I like
Interesting.
groovy drums.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. And was guitar your sort of first instrument, or like what kind of got you into songwriting?
Well, I wrote. Yeah, I picked up guitar at 14, I want to say. I had like a guitar all my childhood that I just did not touch.
Yeah.
Like I got it at 5. I don't know why I wanted a guitar at age 5. I can't remember. But
Like bigger than you.
yeah, no, it was like just one of those child classical ones.
Yeah.
But it was good I had it in the end because that was what I went on and went to when I was 14 and
Yeah.
like I want to learn an instrument. But it was it arose out of a sense of I wanted to get something down and guitar was just the easiest or the closest thing that I had to getting that.
Yeah.
I always sang when I was younger, and the earliest memories I can have of songwriting were just like age 8 being like with my toys, and I'd be like, I'm gonna write a concert, and then my mum would come into my room and be like, Cari, are you feeling okay? So I'd write just weird shit.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, like having all of your dolls like lined up at the end of your bed, and you're like singing to them, being like, what do you think?
Just like they're having a concert.
Yeah.
About
About my feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that. And were your parents musical at all?
No, I'm actually a bit of a outlier in my
Yeah.
family. I've had a few near famous uncles, I think.
Near famous
Yeah,
uncles.
I had an uncle on my mum's side who was in a band. They had a hit in the, I don't know, 70s.
Yeah.
But my uncle pulled out as a drummer just before they got big. So he never saw any of the gains from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But other than that, no. Yeah.
Fair.
So it was kind of weird navigating that when I was younger because it was just like, I want to sing.
Yeah.
Give me singing lessons.
Who will sing with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've got the teddy bears and everything. Surely they'll sing along with you.
Yeah. You just sing to myself. Yeah.
Were you a big like sing in the shower kind of person?
Yeah, I was. I just used to. I don't know. I sang a lot.
Did it feel nerve-wracking then, sort of having that feeling of singing all the time and then going into playing gigs? How was that sort of transition? Did you feel like, were you terrified or
Yeah,
were you
I hated
like,
performing. No, when I was very young, I didn't care. But then, I mean, everyone gets insecure when they're like a teenager.
For sure.
I hated singing in public and performing in general. I like used to get so like anxious about it. I did. I like didn't. I don't know why I picked it, but I tried to do cold water therapy and just I enrolled myself for a music performance program.
Yeah.
It's like, I hate singing in public. I'm going to do this this course and try and like get rid of it. But it was the worst time.
Oh no.
But no, it was kind of funny. It's kind of funny now, but also I just, had a few breakdowns, sort of having to sing in front of my class in school. Just be like, I don't want to sing.
Yeah. It's scary. I think it's scarier in school for sure.
Yeah.
Something about it. I don't know.
It's kind of just that idea that you have to be perfect. And I think that only left me after I met funnily enough, I met through architecture school. I met some amazing musicians who don't give themselves enough credit for how good they are, but quite experimental, like pushed me a bit beyond my my ear and like my personal preferences. I got really into hyperpop my first year of uni because I had a friend who was really into Sophie and Arca, which is seeing a resurgence now with the Charlie XCX album that's just come out, which very love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lot of people like that around me fresh out of school, and I kind of had to unlearn a lot of those perfectionist standards I think I picked up. But that got me to where I am today. So I think, it was it was a process.
Yeah, always is. Yeah, that feeling of like, yeah, I feel like as you get older, you kind of give less of a shit a little bit, but you also kind of know yourself better, so you can, yeah, I don't know, maybe articulate better
I
how
think
you
it's
feel
just,
about a thing.
yeah, but it's also just that, like, for me, when I was younger, it was very much just like, oh, yeah, just caring about what people think of you and how, if you're good or not. I think that still lingers, but I think music is about so much more than whether or not it's good.
Yeah.
And it's about, yeah. It's just, yeah,
How it makes you
there's so much
feel
more to music than
Yeah.
about like just how good it is.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's your expression, you know.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You can't possibly say like, well, your expression is no good, because it's
Yeah.
like, but it is. It can't be anything else than like what it is.
It's just an expression, but then there's still like some things can mean so much for people that others might not. Like for others, it might not.
Yeah.
Everything means something to some people, and yeah.
Meant to be hiding for anyone watching.
The whoopsie daisy.
There's a really gross bit of the microphone, but if you're listening, dear listeners, do not worry, do not fret. Have you got anything in the works at the moment?
Besides kind of just my new project that I've come out with and trying to get my music to a point where I'm sort of happy with how it's articulated. Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of the main things that are going on.
Yeah.
But again, I'm kind of just constantly trying to take in as much as I can.
Yeah.
Go out and see lots of gigs and see what other people are doing.
Yeah, it sounds like you're either playing a gig or seeing a gig.
Yeah,
like,
that's a lot of my
most
life.
days.
Yeah,
so good.
Like, how do you have all the time? And I was like, I don't know. I just show up.
It's I don't know, when it's something that you love like that.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
Sometimes it feels just more like a necessity, though. I feel like it's kind of. I mean, you have days when you don't love it.
Yeah.
It's like I'm walking in the rain to like 20 minutes. And actually the worst one I had was I nearly got myself killed. I used to not drive. And so I used to like cut all my gear from my parents' house, which is in Chelsea, to Brunswick. And I'd be on the train. And then the worst one was I went to Bar Open and I had my amp in one hand, my guitar, and like this trolley, and I was just it was a 10-minute walk, but it was like one of the hardest things I had to do.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Damn.
I
always really liked that about being an acoustic player for a lot
You
of the
don't have
time. I
something
was
to carry.
like, this is great. I can just take my guitar,
exactly.
off we go. And now playing in a band, I'm like, God damn. Why do we have to have amps?
I feel like sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not.
Yeah. But I drive now, so
I don't
got a
have
little
a car.
van, so I've got all the space for the gear, which is nice. But yeah, every now and then when we go to like open mic nights, I'm like, I'm just gonna take my acoustic guitar. It's gonna be so nice. What a treat! What a treat for me.
Well, I moved just recently on North Side.
Hell yeah.
Thank God. It's the first gig was that I had after I moved out was the Tones gig. It was a 20-minute bus ride, and it was. Someone was chasing me down High Street, but like it was pretty calm and peaceful other than that. Yeah. So.
So good. Yeah, there's like I've only ever lived kind of North Side, and I've really only been to gigs kind of North Side as well. So it always feels like I know there's a lot happening South Side and East Side and West Side.
At the SB?
But the SB, I don't really know. Like Kindred Band Room in the West and like
that's
Chan's and
West,
stuff.
yeah.
That's nice.
Mama Chan's is great. I love Mama Chan's.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel really lucky living here and just like walking access, bus, tram, and
it makes a world
so
of difference,
much
trust
at
me.
your doorstep. It's really nice. Have you been to see any particularly good gigs recently?
Yeah, I have. I was at one last night actually. I went to Nighthawks and I saw Bodies. That was a really good show.
Cool.
I also saw Mr. Industry recently who I ate up. That was really good. That was a really good mix of electronic stuff or elements, which I'm really into obviously,
Yeah.
and sort of these math rock guitar licks.
Man,
And it was just
that's so
very
hectic.
yeah, I really felt that show.
Yeah, that's awesome. Was that quite an inspiring one? You were like, oh, I've got to go home and bloody get going.
Yeah. Yes. I'll say yes.
Yeah. Oh, do you have any dream venues that you would play someday?
Dream venues. Oh,
Or a dream lineup?
a dream lineup. I Do you mean locally or just generally?
Generally.
Generally. I feel like I wanted to play the O2 for a while, but
I don't even know what that is.
that it's a very big venue, and I was like, babes, yeah.
No,
I don't think I
dream
want to.
big.
Yeah, that's my dream big.
Yeah.
That was when I was 15. And I was like, I'm going to be famous. But I don't, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the Forum is my dream one. I'm like, I could totally happen.
I didn't say that.
You don't like the Forum?
I hate the Forum.
No.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I've
fine.
had I saw Blonde Redhead there, which was a
Yeah,
very, if you want to
cool.
talk about gigs that sort of changed my mindset, my outlook in life, Blonde Redhead was definitely one of them.
Amazing.
That was very, wow, she's such a powerful front woman.
So
Yeah,
cool.
and Georgia Knight played that night as
Oh,
well.
nice. Awesome.
And she was brilliant as well.
Yeah.
And obviously,
So cool.
local legend.
Mhm.
But that was a really good night. I was
Yeah.
front row. There's some security guy who I was having good bants with. He was pretty funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. I feel like that's probably my favorite of the bigger venues. But in general, I don't know, I kind of like
Yeah,
I
don't
like
know.
smaller, intimate gigs.
See, that's the thing, and I feel I really appreciate that that's what places like the Forum. That's how they make me feel.
Yeah.
There's something so nice about just being able to stand 2 meters away from the person who's playing and just to be able to connect or feel like you can connect with the artist
For sure.
more. I feel that's what I find really rewarding about the local scene. You can get to know the people who are playing the music and see either their inspiration, talk to them. And especially that's what I appreciate about the people I know in the scene. It's let me interrogate you about your what you find interesting about this weird thing we're all participating in collectively.
Definitely.
Yes.
It's cool. Yeah, I feel like all of the the smaller venues, the more intimate ones, it's easy to have a chat with the artists themselves. Often are just they go get a beer at the bar afterwards, and you're just like, "Great show, man." And they're like, "Thanks."
Yeah, and it's like, wow, I really liked that, and you get to talk to them afterwards as well. And it's like you can never have that sort of connection with your idols per se.
Yeah. But yeah, it's nice. I feel like the Melbourne scene is very friendly and very everyone is playing in everyone's bands and
yeah, no, it's good.
It's good. It was when I first started playing in a band, I was like, I don't know any bands. And then we sort of played our first show and we just had some friends on the lineup. And then it was so easy after that to sort of that person who played in the band that night also has a band and they also play in another band.
It's
and
very
it was just
much everyone knows
cool.
everyone.
Now that we've kind of had that first experience, it's so not intimidating anymore. And you can easily just reach out and be like, hey man.
Yeah.
Love to play a show with you sometime.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, there's not been many people I haven't been like, oh yeah, they were really good.
Yeah. It's so much fun. Yeah. I feel really lucky. seeing so many great bands, and like whenever I'm on a lineup with someone that I don't know, I'm always like, oh my god, that was great. I gotta play with them again. Like you, like I played the show with Jaded Parade at the Workers
Oh
Club.
my god, yeah.
That was such a fun show.
That was crazy. That was
They
very
were so good.
Yeah, that was a very yeah, it's the thing. Sometimes it's just like you just have the time of your life, and it's like I just really everything's working.
You could
right.
tell, like, I remember, seeing you play that night, and just you were so like you're the opening set solo up on stage, and you were just fucking killing it. Like you had such front woman energy,
Oh, thanks.
just like rocking out.
Yeah, thanks.
And I was like, we gotta play.
When was that show?
Carly.
Was that at the start of the year, or was that late last year?
I feel like it was late last year.
Okay.
But time is an illusion.
Yeah, that's the thing. I swear, I'm like, because that's where we met, wasn't it?
Yeah,
yeah.
Pretty sure.
It's like you play all these gigs, and it's like, God.
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point where it's just like, oh yeah, I remember that gig.
Sometime?
Yeah.
I played with a band recently, and I was like, wait, was that our first time playing together?
Yeah, it was,
Hang
because
on
the
a
Ringo
second.
Bar was after that.
As in when I'm playing with like other people.
Oh, sorry.
I'm like, have we not played together before?
Yeah.
Like, was that really it?
I suppose you've been on the scene a lot longer than I have as well. Because you, yeah,
I don't know, like 2 years, maybe.
that's a year on
Bit
me.
more.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a great scene to be a part of.
Absolutely.
I love Melbourne.
I love
But I feel like
Melbourne
I'm like such a fangirl when I see artists that I know around Melbourne. I'm like, oh my god, that was like such and such.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I
I'm
just saw them
terrible for
walking
that.
down the
Yeah.
street. Like,
But
it's gonna happen. Like Melbourne's just full.
But that's
of
so magical. It's like you get to be around the people or the artists that you really are keen on.
Have you got anyone that you're like, all right, next gig, I want to play with them? Or people are coming to you being like, I gotta play with Cari Scharl.
I feel like I've always been a very much like I just get a lot of gigs by people coming up to me. There's definitely artists that I'd be like, I want to play with, but it's kind of more like I'm very much in a I need to figure out what I'm doing mindset kind of right now.
Yeah.
So it's a bit hard for me to be like, oh yeah, I want to play with them.
For sure. It's a lot. Yeah. It's a weird one trying to approach artists like not in person as well. Like I've written like some emails to people. I'm like, is it weird to just email this band? I'm like, to whom it may concern.
I feel like
Kind regards.
DMs are always
Yeah, I definitely prefer a DM.
Yeah. I've reached out to people through DM for collaboration recently though. That's how I got that Out of Flowers gig.
Yeah, nice.
I just But I do stuff like that. But
And have you got any gigs coming up that we can put in our calendars?
Got the Nighthawks on the August 15th.
Nice.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Is that with Idle Flowers?
No, this is a Cari Scharl show.
Hell yes.
So that should be a trio show at this point.
Nice.
But that might change.
Yeah, cool.
Hopefully it will be a
15th of
trio show.
August, Nighthawks. Who else is on the bill?
We've got Dinosaur Allen, which is a debut show for them.
Hell
I'm really
yeah.
excited.
That's a great name, Dinosaur Allen.
And he's really nice as well. I met him I played the Retreat with Split Lanes and oh my god, what are they called? God. I will remember it.
That's all right.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
It was like
That'll be
Milk Spill or something.
Yeah.
Milk Punch. Milk
Milk
Punch. That was they were really great too.
Hell yeah. That's very exciting.
Yeah, it is really
Got some
exciting.
gigs planned. Super keen to. I've seen like little bits and pieces from the Tones gig, but
so
I can't
have
wait to see the
I.
full performance again. It was
Yes.
such a great day.
Thank you. Yeah, I really
such a
enjoyed
great
it.
show. Yeah. How did you find the like being filmed, being recorded? Like recently
low-key
having that
hated it.
experience of like, I was like, oh God, this is like way too much to think
Yeah,
about.
it was a very self-conscious sort of day. I
Yeah.
was just like, I'm being filmed.
Yeah. It's hard to put it out of your head a little bit.
Yeah, but I felt like it was a good show. I think
Definitely.
it's always hard. I feel like I go to each show the same. It's kind of just like you get one shot at it, and it's kind of just either a hit or miss usually.
Yeah.
Or there's some good things, and then
Yeah.
there's some bad things, and it's just like
Yeah. I guess I feel like it's probably mostly actually hits. And then there's just like the one or two misses that you have in your
Fixate
head, and
on.
you're like, oh God, it was the worst show we've ever played.
I dropped my pee.
Yeah. I tried to do some banter and it just
I had a mate who
failed.
broke his E string.
Oh,
It
no.
was like the last show I played, and it was
no.
like, oh no.
I am so scared of
like
that
the bottom
happening
one
to me.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, surely someone around will have a guitar that I can borrow for. I borrowed your guitar strap at the Ringo bar because mine broke right before we were meant to start.
That's the thing. You can always ask people. Like it's not. Yeah.
And people are so nice. Like the audience is always very like forgiving, I think.
Yeah.
They don't care. If you make a mistake, they're like, great, you're fucking human. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to see you do well.
But it's hard to unlearn that really, because it's like as an artist, I feel like you're always like, oh, I need to get everything right, otherwise it's terrible, and it's like I'm not a good musician anymore. But yeah,
they're good.
it is. It's hard, but then you see shows like that now too, and it's like, oh, cheat, like they made a mistake.
Yeah.
But then, yeah.
I saw a show recently, Grace Cummings, and she like started playing a song, and she was in the wrong tuning, and she like started playing, and then she's like, oh fuck, I'm in the wrong tuning, and then I had to start again.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I don't know, moments like that, you
makes
just
the
like you
artist
kind of
human.
feel closer to them, and like there was opportunity for her to then sort of crack some jokes. And
when I feel really bad about a show I've done, I search on Google or YouTube. I'm like, bad performance.
Oh, no. I don't know if I could do it. It's
what do you mean?
Like I remember watching, for example, like Australian Idol or X Factor like auditions, and you're just like,
that was the shit.
I can't do it. But I feel like they want there to be some cringe.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
But it's like if you think about your favorite artists as well, or like people's favorite artists, I don't know, in the the local sphere.
Yeah.
It's everyone makes mistakes. It's like going to Glastonbury without checking your USB or
So true.
Yeah. It's like everyone's susceptible to that flaw though, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it is really only you who gives yourself a hard time for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, everyone else is chilling.
But it's hard because it's like that is still, it's good to be hard on yourself because it's like, well, you want to obviously present the best or the best version of yourself as an artist to people.
That's
and
true.
you want to hold yourself accountable.
Yes.
But then it's also, you don't want to hold yourself to such a high standard that it stifles you, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a really hard balance. And I think for new artists as well, like, or younger artists as well. But it's really hard to try and learn to find that balance between, hey, I'm never going to play a show again because that was the worst thing I've ever done in my life. And hey, like I can make a mistake. I can forget a whole song. Like, yeah. It's fine.
I guess that's true. Like you've definitely seen artists who kind of take the piss because they haven't actually practiced and they're a bit drunk maybe, or they're forgetting stuff, and you're like, oh, this is not fun for anyone.
And it's hard because it's like, you owe something to people, right? To put on a good performance, but then you also don't want to, sometimes that can be a bit suffocating, but it's also like you don't want it to, Yeah,
you're right. It's got to be a good balance of both of those things. I feel like that's a nice place to to end the
To
podcast.
end.
you
It's
know?
okay to fuck up, but then are we supposed to not swear?
No, I think we can swear.
It's okay to mess up, but not to take the piss.
Yes, exactly. Don't take the piss. Don't get drunk. Don't get too drunk and forget all of your words. But do a bit of practice. Do a little bit of practice.
Think of a little bit.
Just a little bit. Just enough. And have fun.
Yeah.
And know that it's not the end of the world.
Yes.
People will just forget. No one's remembering that,
Unless they record it.
Yes.
Catch Tones next week.
Yeah. Tones dropping. See
drops.
Cari Scharl drop her pick on stage.
Yeah. No, I didn't do that. What did I do though? Didn't make a note.
See? Even you've forgotten.
Mm.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank
Vibe Union podcast.
you. No
It's been
worries.
a bloody pleasure talking to you.
Thank
learning
you.
a little bit more about you and
Thank you for the
all
glass
of
of
your
wine.
musical stylings.
Thank you for the chat. Yes.
You can catch Cari at the Nighthawks on August 15th.
Yes.
And then Tones will be dropping very soon as well. So keep an
Yeah,
eye out
I'm
for
really
that. That's going to be
keen.
really nice. And thank you to Sixpence for doing the music for the podcast. And I've been Kelsey Jean. Thanks for letting me host, Ryan Jason. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.